arrows, with one of the last uncontacted tribes in the world.
In remote corners of our planet, there are tribes still living as if time stood still. No electricity, no smartphones, not even the wheel. Entire communities have never seen a car, used a phone, or worn a shirt. To them, the Stone Age isn't history, it's their reality. From the dense Amazon rainforest to forbidden islands, guarded by arrows, these tribes live in complete harmony with nature. But their worlds are now under siege. As the modern world closes in, their ancient ways of life hang by a thread. Join us as we uncover 7 tribes that still live in the Stone Age, and what's happening to them will shock you. Korowai tribe. Life in the tree houses. In a world full of technology, some places remain untouched. Deep in the jungles of Papua, Indonesia, live the Korowai, a tribe with little contact with outsiders until the 1970s. They are masters of the forest, which kept them isolated for centuries. This is a journey to understand a way of life on the verge of disappearing. Reaching the Korowai is a brutal expedition. It takes days by boat and exhausting treks through swampy rainforest, their natural fortress of the 4,000 Korowai. Many still live traditionally. This isolation makes their culture unique and fragile. The most striking sight in Korowai territory is their tree houses, perched high in the canopy. These structures soar over 35 meters. Most family homes rise 8 to 12 meters, protecting from mosquitoes, animals, and enemy tribes. Spiritually, the height shields them from malevolent spirits roaming the forest floor at night. Daily life is survival in its purest form. The forest is their supermarket and pharmacy. Their diet centers on sago starch from palm trees, while men hunt wild boar with bows and arrows. Some use steel tools from trade, but their reliance on the forest continues. The most controversial part of their history is cannibalism. It wasn't driven by hunger, but justice. The Korowai believed mysterious deaths were caused by witches or kakwa. To restore balance, the accused kakwa was killed and consumed. Today the practice has nearly vanished due to outside contact. Yet myths survive, sometimes encouraged to attract tourists. The outside world is closing in. Government settlements bring goods and medicine, but many Korowai feel drawn to ancestral life. Hadza people, Africa's Stone Age survivors. In the scrublands of Tanzania, there are no clocks, no calendars, only the rhythm of the sun. This is home to the Hadza, one of the last hunter-gatherer tribes on Earth. For tens of thousands of years, they've lived like our Stone Age ancestors. A journey back in time to understand a way of being human on the edge of vanishing. Only 1,300 Hadza people remain, holding vast cultural history. A few hundred still live traditionally. Their society is egalitarian, no chiefs, no leaders. They are nomadic, and their language, Hadzan, a unique click language, is unrelated to any other on Earth. Survival depends on connection to the land, tested by the hunt. Watching Hadza men hunt is extraordinary. Their tools are timeless handmade bows and arrows, tipped with poison strong enough to bring down a giraffe. They read the landscape like a book. Every bent blade of grass, every distant bird call tells a story. Hunting isn't just food, it's a sacred conversation with the wild. Success means survival, failure brings hunger, but hunting is half the story. Hadza women sustain the group with sharpened digging sticks. They unearth tubers for carbohydrates. They gather baobab fruit, wild berries, and prized honey. This division isn't hierarchy, it's partnership. For millennia, this life thrived. But the outside world is closing in. In 50 years, the Hadza lost 90% of their ancestral land. Encroaching farms and pastoralist herds shrink their territory. Their traditions aren't a rejection of modernity, they're a survival strategy honed over ages. The Hadza remain a living testament to a different way of being human. Sentinelese tribe, a tribe that rejects the world. Deep in the Bay of Bengal lies North Sentinel Island, home to the Sentinelese, a tribe rejecting the outside world for thousands of years. Any attempt at contact is met with arrows, a fate that killed an American missionary in 2018. North Sentinel Island is frozen in time, protected by India's 5 nautical mile exclusion zone. One of the world's last uncontacted tribes, the Sentinelese are hunter-gatherers, living as their ancestors did for millennia. Called a Stone Age tribe, they scavenge shipwreck metal for arrowheads, fish in shallow reefs with outrigger canoes, and live in communal huts. Their language, beliefs, and social structure remain a mystery, a testament to their fierce isolation. Attempts to contact this living paradox have a dark history. In 1880, a British expedition kidnapped an elderly couple and children, who soon died from disease. From the 1960s to 90s, Indian gift-dropping missions were rejected, often with arrows. In 2006, 2 fishermen were killed when their boat drifted ashore. In 2018, missionary John Allen Chow died trying to convert the tribe. In 2025, a social media influencer was arrested after landing to film, a reminder of this forbidden island's dangerous allure. These events force a profound ethical dilemma. For centuries, the Sentinelese have made their wishes clear: they want no contact. The reason to leave them alone is biological. With zero immunity to common diseases, even a cold could wipe them out. Experts call contact reckless and potentially genocidal. Their survival depends on our restraint, and in a connected world, granting their one wish to be left alone. Mursi tribe, warriors of the Omo Valley. In the heart of Ethiopia's Omo Valley, a people measure wealth not in currency, but in cattle. They are the Mursi tribe, an iconic African tribe of 10,000, fighting to hold on as the modern world encroaches on their tribal lands. The Mursi people are famous for the Depbed Tugun, the lip plate tradition. When a girl comes of age, her lower lip is pierced, stretched, and fitted with a clay plate she crafts herself. It's not just an ornament, it's a powerful symbol of beauty, a rite of passage, and part of their ancient traditions. But times are changing. Many young Mursi women now choose to abandon the plates as outside cultures influence their tribal customs. For Mursi warriors, strength and courage are tested in the Donga stick-fighting ceremony, a ritual combat performed after harvest. Young men clash with 2-meter poles. Victory brings tribal prestige and admiration from unmarried women. Even stepping into the ring is an act of honor. At the center of their culture are cattle herding traditions, symbols of wealth and keys to dowries. Even their striking white clay body paint protects them from the sun and insects, a practical tradition rooted in the African wilderness. But their way of life is under siege. Tourism brings cash, but also criticism, as their tribal culture risks becoming a tourist attraction. Worse are the looming threats, the GB3 Dam, and massive sugar plantations. These projects disrupted the Omo River floodplain, vital for their farms. With food security collapsing, many Mursi families are being pushed off their ancestral lands. The Mursi's fight isn't just about African tribal traditions, it's about survival. Mashco-Piro, the guardians of the rainforest. In the Peruvian Amazon, the Mashco-Piro tribe lives in voluntary isolation. Their story is one of survival, but the modern world is closing in, bringing threats deadlier than any predator. For the Mashco-Piro, hunting with bows and arrows isn't history, it's survival. They've rejected all contact, but illegal logging and oil exploration are destroying their home. Their world is vanishing fast, only 750 remain. Their isolation is deliberate, born from a brutal past. After ancestors were massacred during the 19th century rubber boom, survivors fled deep into the forest. Today, they live nomadically, moving with the seasons. Every tool comes from the forest, crafted with ancestral knowledge, the key to survival. Now they face threats arrows can't stop: illegal logging and resource extraction. Oil and gas concessions cover 70% of Peru's Amazon, much of it overlapping indigenous lands. This destruction drives them toward outsiders, triggering clashes and deadly encounters. Even peaceful contact could be fatal. With no immunity to common diseases, one meeting could spark an epidemic. Protecting the Mashco-Piro requires global awareness. If these stories matter to you, subscribe and join a community fighting for the world's most vulnerable people. The Peruvian government created protected areas like the Madre de Dios Territorial Reserve, but these don't cover all their lands. and enforcement is weak. Shockingly, legal logging concessions overlap Mashco-Piro territory. Indigenous groups like FENAMAD are fighting to expand reserves and enforce the no-contact principle, a right under international law. Owa people, the last nomadic hunter-gatherers. Deep in the Amazon rainforest, a story unfolds from another time. The Owa tribe has lived almost unchanged for centuries, called Earth's most threatened tribe. Their world is on the edge of being violently erased. The Owa are among the last nomadic hunter-gatherer tribes in Brazil. The forest is their home, supermarket, and sanctuary. Men hunt with 6-foot bows. Women and children gather berries and honey. They live in small family groups and raise orphaned monkeys as pets, sometimes breastfeeding them. This isn't history, it's their reality. But this quiet existence is collapsing. Illegal loggers, ranchers, and settlers invade their protected land with chainsaws and guns. Over 34% of a key Owa reserve has already been destroyed. Deliberate fires rip through their homeland. Every fallen tree means less food and shelter. One man said, "If you destroy the forest, you destroy us too." Many are too scared to hunt, forced to run as chainsaws close in. This isn't just a forest, it's a people. Past contact wiped out communities with diseases like the flu. Around 100 Owa remain uncontacted, fleeing at the first sign of outsiders. Violence is direct. Loggers have attacked and murdered them for being an obstacle. In desperation, the neighboring Guajajara guardians risk their lives to protect the Owa where the government has failed. The fight isn't over. Global pressure led by groups like Survival International has forced Brazil to act, sending troops to expel invaders. These efforts show the forest can be saved, but protection rarely lasts. Baduy people, guardians of a sacred way of life. In a world more connected than ever, one community has completely opted out. Deep in the jungles of West Java, Indonesia, just hours from Jakarta, the inner Baduy have rejected the modern world. They follow ancestral laws so strict, they remain almost entirely separate from the 21st century, upholding a sacred duty they believe protects the entire world. Finding the Baduy means walking back in time. Where paved roads end, a long foot journey begins, filtering out the modern world. Their territory splits into two zones. The outer Baduy form a cultural shield, a ring of villages with looser rules. They have limited contact with outsiders, selling crafts and honey. Their purpose is to protect the heart of society. The inner Baduy, crossing into inner Baduy territory, is forbidden for foreigners and restricted for others. Rules are absolute: no cameras, no phones, no modern technology. You can't even bring soap that might pollute their rivers. They wear simple white and black garments for purity, walk barefoot, and are forbidden from using vehicles. Villages are built from natural materials, and all knowledge comes from nature and tradition, guided by a spiritual leader, the Puan, who upholds sacred laws. Their commitment is a stunning reminder of how differently humans can live. So why do they live this way? The Baduy see themselves as guardians, not primitive. Their religion, Sunda Wiwitan, teaches that living in simplicity without altering nature maintains world harmony. They are subsistence farmers, growing rice without modern tools and storing surplus in shared barns. Life is communal. Marriages are arranged, and anyone breaking sacred rules is exiled to the outer Baduy to preserve inner purity.